We're a little over halfway through season 1 of our realistic Norwich City career mode, so I think now is a good time to take stock of where we are as a club. We're currently on track to achieve most of our board objectives, and we're also making good progress on a number of the custom objectives we set at the start of the season. With 17 goals to his name so far in the championship, Josh Sargent has achieved his player target. We have also already achieved our fan experience target by scoring with at least 8 strikers or midfielders in the championship, and we've also increased the value of at least 3 players by 50% or more. Josh Sargent, Johnny Rowe, Marcelino Nunez and Borja Sainz, each grown by at least 60%. We are currently on track to achieve our youth development objective, having promoted Oliver Lawson and Bobby Parker to the first team. However, having won 16 out of our 29 games so far, we are currently only on a 55% win rate. We need to bump that up to 60 if we're to achieve that domestic success objective. That means we need to win 12 of our 17 remaining games, which is going to be a tall task, but we really need to try and make it happen because it's going to make such a difference to our transfer policy next season. Speaking of transfer policy, we do need to start planning for the possibility that we could go up this season, especially given our current league position. So I've identified 4 different styles of play that we could try to employ in the Premier League, and these will inform how we recruit next summer. We could try and take the same approach that Daniel Farke took with Norwich in the Premier League. That means choose a formation, likely a 4-2-3-1, choose a strongest starting 11, and trust in it. It also means try to play football. Get the ball down, play into fee, earn some plaudits from the likes of Pep Guardiola along the way, but potentially not set ourselves up quite so well for survival. Or we could take the approach that Graham Potter took with his Brighton sides. That, I would say, is the approach that we are currently taking. Try and be tactically flexible and fluid. Approach the game with the same mindset each time, but potentially the formations will look slightly different. But again, we want to play football. Get the ball down. Try and keep possession. But again, it's maybe not going to set us up so well for survival. Well, you could also try and replicate what Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds sides were able to achieve when they were in the top division. That means set up with an aggressive formation, something like a 4-3-3, and play really high pressing, really attacking football, leave it all on the line. Probably leave ourselves exposed at the back from time to time, but look to score goals, look to take on even the biggest sides head to head. And then the final approach that we could potentially take is the one that Sean Dyche took with his Burnley sides. That means we take on a bit more of a traditional small team in the Premier League approach. It means we bring in as many big players as possible, try and be a threat from set pieces, try and be solid, organised, compact defensively, and probably rely more on the long ball than we do on a possession style of football. Each approach has its merits and its drawbacks, and each approach has been successful at various points in the Premier League. Brighton are, of course, the only team still in the Premier League at this point, so you could argue that their approach is more successful, but I don't think it's a case of right and wrong. It's a case of choosing one specific approach so that we can have a coherent vision within the club and we can recruit players that fit that particular system. So let me know in the comments down below which approach you think would give us the best chance of Premier League survival if we do manage to make it up next season. Farke's Norwich, Potter's Brighton, Bielsa's Leeds, Dyche's Burnley. Of course, you do need to make it up to the Premier League first, and whilst we are currently in position to do that, we are certainly not guaranteed to get promoted this season, but we do currently have 5 games to get to in today's episode to try and help increase our chances of that possibility. We're starting out with a featured game today, hosting top of the table Leeds at Carrow Road before we take on Swansea, Stoke, Portsmouth and Derby County, and we could well see our next FA Cup fixture appear on the calendar at some point as well, so there might be a slight change to that schedule. We lost 2-0 to Leeds last time out at Elland Road. Robert Perrault putting us on the back foot early and Patrick Bamford securing things late on. We did put in a good performance though, and we certainly weren't blown away by Leeds. It was a fairly unfortunate early goal to concede, and Patrick Bamford's goal was simply a case of us trying to grab an equaliser late in the game and leaving ourselves too exposed at the back. And Leeds are going to line up in a fairly similar fashion to that first fixture. Carl Darlow coming in for Elan Meslier being one of few changes. Jamie Shackleton starting at right back. I don't believe we saw in the first fixture. Sam Byram does return to Carrow Road. Jorginho, Ruter and Perrault, again the 2 frontmen, Nonto and Anthony just behind them. The entire team, though, looks like they are flagging a little bit in terms of match fitness. Johannes Thorup, on the other hand, has chosen to switch it up. He's going to go with a 4-4-2 today, despite Josh Sargent's injury. So instead, both Ashley Barnes and Adam Eder will start up front. Johnny Rowe, Marcelino Nunez, Kenny McLean, Borja Sainz make up the midfield, whilst it'll be a back four of Wolf, Duffy, Hoyt and Toffolo standing in front of new goalkeeper Jason Steele. Leeds are becoming something of a rival for Norwich City in real life and even more so here in the game. So without further ado, let's head over to Carrow Road and see if we can finally get one over on them. So it's first against second here at Carrow Road. A huge game in this championship season as Leeds get things going. We will be looking to get things going as soon as possible here, though, through Adam Eder. Good high pressing, but the bounce goes Leeds' way. And it's a good challenge by Kenny McLean. Leeds piling the pressure on early, forcing an ultimately comfortable save from Jason Steele. But I think this one is going to be far more open and attacking than the first. Disappointing to lose 2-0 at Elland Road, especially since we did put in such a good performance. Didn't really feel like a justified result in the end. But of course, when you are 1-0 down, chasing the game in the last 5-10 minutes or so, you do just tend to put everything on the line. And of course, that's going to open up holes in behind, as Johnny Rowe is looking to exploit a hole here behind for Norwich City. Sam Byram, in front of his former fans, does a good job to deal with it, though. That's risky from Carl Darlow, finding Joe Roden. So Ashley Barnes gets the nod today up front. Of course, we would have loved to play Adam Eder and Josh Sargent as our duo today. But Sargent, of course, out for the next month or so. And it's an important month. This is a month where we really could have used Sargent, because beyond Leeds, we have some relatively easy fixtures. Derby County, Stoke, Portsmouth. These are all teams we should be beating. And so with Sargent up front, really, I feel like we could have just put those teams to the sword and made absolutely sure that we did come away with the right results. With just Adam Eder and Ashley Barnes. What a ball that is. Borja Sainz through on goal. Can it be an early goal for Norwich City? Yes, it can. Absolutely clinical. And 10 minutes into the game, we are seeing, while Johannes Thorup decided to go with this 4-4-2 formation, it does give us so many more attacking options. And one of those attacking options was Borja Sainz with a fantastic run through the middle. I think it was Kenny McLean that found him. And he outran everybody, not just on the Leeds team, but on our own team as well. Adam Eder, Ashley Barnes, nowhere to be seen. But that is exactly the kind of start we needed here at home from Borja Sainz, who continues to have a very good season here in his second year at the club. I was in two minds, really. Well, probably in three minds about how to line up today. Has that gone out? That's gone out. I was tempted to go with just a regular 4-2-3-1 formation. And with Sargent out, that probably would have made some sense. However, that is the way we lined up last time against Leeds. And although we put in a good performance, we didn't really dictate the tempo of the game. We didn't really control the game from start to finish. We certainly didn't dominate Leeds by any means. It was a fairly even game. As we're going to have to get back in position here with Marius Wolf. Fortunately, it's just Sam Byram And he just relays the ball back to Jaden Anthony eventually. And a good challenge from Johnny Rowe. And Ashley Barnes can't quite take possession. Jaden Anthony once more finds Ruter. Now we're in trouble. Good challenge though from Shane Duffy. Adam Eder back to help out as well. And we can come clear with Johnny Rowe, who's got the pace on Sam Byron without doubt. Good little run from Marcelino Nunez as well. There's too much on that. Too much on that. Too much on the pass from Johnny Rowe. So the 4-2-3-1 I think was fine against Leeds in the first game. But I just felt like we needed a little something more, a little something different. I was tempted to go with a 3-4-3 formation. But Sargent isn't the only injury in the side. Callum Chambers is also out with a torn groin, of course. Harry Toffolo beaten. Leeds really starting to twist the knife now. Nonto into the box. Hoyt deals with it well, though. He's been a good addition. He's looked really solid in his handful of games so far. So with Chambers out, that just gives us awkward options in that back three, because we would have to play both Hoyt and Cordoba, which means two left-footed centre-backs. It's Ashley Barnes heads clear. Not quite clear from danger, though. Ampadu lays it off to, I think, Anthony. Kenny McLean and Marcelino Nunez both on the edge of the box. Good block. And Kenny McLean hooks clear. And neither Cordoba nor Hoyt are really ideal to play in the central position of those three centre-backs. So we would have to put Duffy there, which means we would have a left-footed centre-back on the right-hand side of the three. And it's just awkward and not quite ideal. That's a really poor challenge. Kenny McLean. Leeds get the advantage. Dealt with well again by Shane Duffy, and Ashley Barnes is away. He needs a bit of help though. Doesn't come quickly enough. So ultimately we did settle on the 4-4-2. Not just in terms of the most practical use of the personnel we have available, but because I do want to take the game to Leeds today. Jason Steele collects. And we have done that early. We have done that in these first 25 minutes. I'd also like to get more of an idea of how this 4-4-2 would play if we did go up to the Premier League as well. There are those 4 different styles of play. That's not a foul. How is that not a foul? He's come right through the back of him. That's absolutely outrageous. Nonto. Hoyt for company once more. Hoyt again gets the better of Nonto and just hooks clear. Borja sights to chase. Can't quite bring it under his control. We have those 4 styles of play that we would look to employ, and this is kind of a Bielsa Leeds approach, this 4-4-2 formation. It's pretty attacking, pretty aggressive, pretty high pressing. Toffolo in behind. Nunez, really good run. Not the best target for a cross, but he was the only one we had available. And I think with Josh Sargent with a partner up front, whether that is Adam Eder or somebody else, I think this 4-4-2 could do a lot of damage in the Premier League. I think it would be a boom or bust formation without doubt. We would score a lot of goals, but we would concede a lot of goals, I think. But it worked for Bielsa and Leeds for a time at the very least. So it could be a worthy approach. Kenny McLean with the booking that the referee did well to remember, because I think about 15 minutes have passed in game since that challenge. It was a poor one. Absolutely deserving of a booking. Leeds have really grown into the game. That's equally poor. Kenny McLean maybe can't complain too much about that one. I think Kamara just getting his own back for that earlier challenge. Leeds really have grown into the game since the opening 10 minutes or so. So we are going to have to be vigilant, wary on defence, and try and make sure we get to half-time with the lead. Looks clear by Toffolo, but Leeds certainly have looked the team more like scoring the last 15-20 minutes or so. Let's try and wrestle control back from Leeds. That starts with winning possession, which we are currently struggling to do. Ashley Barnes does exactly that though. Johnny Rowe, again a chance to run at Sam Byram. Makes it past him. Adamida gets completely blocked off. Potentially we should have released the ball sooner there. Really good feet from Johnny Rowe though, and Marius Wolf has some space. There's just nothing on. Surprisingly few options there. As Nunez finds Ida. I think he was caught in two minds there, whether to try and turn the ball towards goal or just knock it down to Ashley Barnes. In the end, he didn't either. Just knocking it down to Ashley Barnes probably would have been the better option. Would have been tight for offside, but I think he looked just about on. It was an awkward angle. But based on the lines on the pitch, I think he would have been onside. Ashley Barnes already really struggling for fitness. That was the issue with playing this 4-4-2. Ashley Barnes is not exactly fresh. And Ida and Barnes, of course, are our only two strikers. So we will have to bring Barnes off at some point, and it will have to be for a non-striker. Baha Sainz with another excellent run. Takes it down, cuts inside, plays it behind for Adamida. It's a really nicely weighted pass. Not too much in the box. We kind of had people lingering on the edge there, and Kenny McLean has been the victim of another late challenge there, this time from Nonto. It's kind of off the ball, so I'm not sure if the referee saw it. Wesley Hoyt versus Jamie Shackleton. Shackleton too, labouring somewhat. It was a poor cross in the end, straight to Jason Steele. And Sam Byram could be caught out here. He was high up the pitch. Johnny Rowe is in behind. Can he finish? Not even close. Not even close. It was a narrow angle, to be fair, in the end. Didn't really have any other options. Only Adamida for support. And he was not an option. The Leeds defenders comfortably had that option covered. Into stoppage time, though. And we do still have the lead. So it looks like we are going to achieve that short-term objective of making it to half-time, and indeed we do. Decent enough first half. I would say Leeds have probably had the better of it, but we have the lead, which is really what matters. I think we'll continue with the 4-4-2 into the second half, but we may look to make a change at some point fairly early in the second half, especially depending on Ashley Barnes' fitness. Thank you for checking out this episode of our realistic Norwich City career mode. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're approaching the end of the FC24 cycle now, but there'll be plenty more content to come with the release of FC25, including 12th man memberships. If you want to get more involved with the channel, check out the membership tiers on my homepage. Memberships start at less than £2 per month and come with a whole host of benefits and rewards, including you being able to feature in my career mode saves. We'll be starting a road to glory with a created club as soon as FC25 drops. So if you want to be included in the save or even feature in our starting 11, become a 12th man member of the channel today. 12th man members also get exclusive early access to all of my videos, not only my career mode series, but also my realistic slider sets and everything else in between. If you want more information about exactly what each tier involves, be sure to check out this video on my homepage. If memberships aren't for you, you can also join the public area of my Discord server, or just keep watching and enjoying the content for free right here on YouTube. As always, I appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Now, let's get back to the video. So back out for the second half. No changes just yet for Johannes Thorup or Daniel Farke. And we will look to... That's so poor. We will look to get off to the same kind of start in the second half that we did in the first. A nice early goal to make this second half a little more comfortable would be ideal. Great challenge. Johnny Rowe. Ashley Barnes. Johnny Rowe once more, but Ashley Barnes can't quite find him. Kenny McLean's going to have to be careful on the edge of the box here. Already on a booking. Jaden Anthony taking on Marius Wolf. Johnny Rowe back in a defensive position as well. And manages to put in the foot. Can he beat Sam Byram? Oh, instead he tries to find Ashley Barnes through the middle. Again, couldn't quite find the Norwich City shirt. Great challenge, Marius Wolf. Wins the ball excellently and finds Johnny Rowe. Marcelino Nunez. Good pressing from Leeds just to delay that counter-attack because there was space in behind Leeds there. They did an excellent job. Harry Toffolo, a bit too much on that. Tempted to drop back into my defensive game plan, but there are holes in behind. Leeds are committing players forward to try and get the equaliser here. And I don't want to take my foot off the gas too much, because then we may not be able to exploit those holes. Johnny Rowe. Adam Eder. Really good feet, really good power from Adam Eder. Good save from Carl Darlow. That would have been ideal. That would have been exactly the start that we had in the first half. Scoring almost 10 minutes into the second period. Really nice run from Adam Eder. He's so strong, he's so powerful, and he's so quick for his size. Nicely worked from Leeds though. Nonto cuts in off the right hand side. Finds Kamara, who is also on a booking. Oh, Adam Eder can't quite steal it away. Harry Toffolo though can, but relinquishes possession immediately. Wesley Hoyt's going to have to come across and deal with Ruter, which he does. How good has Wesley Hoyt been? And that's bounced off the Leeds man. Really good from Borja Sainz. How good has Wesley Hoyt been? He looks so solid. Archie Gray still on Leeds here. I debated moving some players around based on the summer transfers that have happened so far, but I decided not to in the end. So Archie Gray still at Leeds, and there'll be a handful of other transfers that have occurred in real life that I haven't mimicked in the game here. I just thought we're not going to be able to do that with every single transfer that happens this summer. You know, we've started the save now. Any additional transfers that take place, we are not going to be able to replicate, of course. So I just downloaded the latest squads and went with that. Borja Sainz cuts inside. Immediately faced down by 2-3 Leeds players. Harry Toffolo in a good position on this left flank, though. Nonto absolutely shattered, and I'm not surprised because he's put in a shift today, as have a number of these Leeds players. It's a very demanding system that Leeds play. And we saw in the pre-match report that they weren't exactly match fresh heading into the game either. Johnny Rowe isolated again, one-on-one with Sam Byram. Chance to drive at the Leeds back line. He does just that. Can't quite get the shot away. Adam Eder does collect though. Can't quite turn. I think what I'm going to do next time the ball goes out of play is we are going to bring Ashley Barnes off. Oh, that's a great ball in behind. Harry Toffolo needs to recover here, and he has managed to slow Perot down. Did I call him Robert Perot earlier? I think I called him Robert Perot, but his name is Joel, right? Is it Joel or Robert? Those are two completely different names. I'm pretty sure it's Joel Perot, and I'm pretty sure I called him Robert earlier instead. But regardless, next time the ball goes out of play, we will bring Ashley Barnes off because he is less than fresh, to say the least. And I think we'll bring Tiano Ballo on in the number 10 position, so no more two up front. And we will look to be a little more methodical in the way that we build up. And so we'll bring Tiano Ballo on in the number 10. I think it's probably going to be wise to bring Kenny McLean off as well, which we will do here before Toffolo takes the throw. Kenny McLean on a booking, of course, so I don't want to risk him getting sent off. So he will make way alongside Ashley Barnes. Jacob Sorensen will come on alongside Tiano Ballo. So, again, not looking to take our foot off the gas too much, but looking to control the midfield a little bit more. Maybe not bypass the midfield quite as early and as often as we have been doing with our attack so far today. And just Adam Eder up front on his own for the remainder of the game. Tiano Ballo, of course, will get up to support. But I really do want to focus on keeping hold of this lead. And I think if we're able to do that for the next 5-10 minutes or so, then I think we probably will. That's a really poor pass. Toffolo did so well to win the ball back, and then we just invited pressure. Non-toe twisting and turning. Archie Gray finds Ruter. Archie Gray once more. Really nicely worked from Leeds, and it's a good save in the end from Jason Steele. Thankfully, I think it was Archie Gray that took the shot on. And Gruyev is absolutely shattered. Rowe on the same. Johnny Rowe struggling a little bit, but he does manage to find Marcelino Nunez. He finds Adam Eder and poked away by Ethan Ampadu. How on earth did he get to that? What a chance. As Marcelino Nunez will deliver the corner. And I think shortly we will be dropping into our ultra-defensive game plan. That's so close. That's so close. Was it Wesley Hoyt? It was Shane Duffy. What a header. Darlow scrambling. Almost hit the post on the way past. And I think if we can survive another 5 minutes, I think we drop into our ultra-defensive game plan. And just try and see this game out with a 1-goal lead. I would be more than fine with a 1-0 victory. Leeds, of course, top of the table. So if we can narrow the gap on them and extend our lead over Burnley in third, that would obviously be huge going into the home stretch of the season. Marius Wolf wins it. Adam Eder with a run in behind. Does he have the pace and the strength to get there? Of course he does. Is it even a question? Hits the post. Oh my God, Shane Duffy narrowly missed the post moments ago. Adam Eder hits the post. Absolutely brutal. Marcelino Nunez found by Tiano Ballo. What a save by Darlow, and we cannot put this game to bed. We just cannot put this game away. Leeds are there for the taking. We just can't deliver the knockout blow. And Leeds looking to counterpunch. Sorensen puts a stop to that though, and we will drop into our ultra defensive game plan for these last 10 minutes. Just try and hold on to this 1-goal lead. Borja Sainz on the left. Tiano Ballo with a really good run, but it just drags the Leeds defenders away from Borja Sainz. Ethan Ampadu back in position though. The space just opened up wide for Borja Sainz there. Couldn't get the shot away in time. Adam Eder pressing Leeds, trying to force a mistake. He's going to have to lead from the front now, Adam Eder. Tiano Ballo there as well. Really nicely worked from Leeds though. I think we'll make all 3 of our remaining changes if the ball does go out of play again before the end of the game. Can Adam Eder get there? Not quite. Leeds using the ball incredibly well. We are pressing every available option that Leeds have though. And we're doing just enough to prevent them from making any forward progress. Adam Eder clears the ball away. Leeds are going to make a final change. Stuart Dallas on for Jaden Anthony is interesting. We're going to make a final changes here as well. So it is going to be all 3 remaining changes for Johannes Thorup. Borja Sainz, Marcelino Nunez, Johnny Rowe to go off. Christian Fasnacht, Liam Gibbs, Jose Cordoba on to replace them. So we do have a flat back 5 now, a flat midfield 4. We have Tiano Ballo at left midfield now. So a bit of pace down that side. If we can hit Leeds on a quick counter-attack, that will be the way that we try and do it. Christian Fasnacht on the opposite side is not that pacey, but he is going to be fresh. And that's just as important at this stage of the game. Adam Eder remains up front. Again, he has pace. And that's a poor challenge. That's a poor challenge. That'll do, though, as the clock ticks over into the 90th minute. Stuart Dallas, the substitute, sees yellow. Christian Fasnacht, one of our substitutes, on the receiving end of the challenge. Leeds very much pressing to try and get back into this game. But we will just find Tiano Ballo out on the left-hand side. And we could have tried to find the run of Jacob Sorensen through the middle there. But instead, oh no, no. I was tempted to take it into the corner with Ballo. The run of Gibbs was too enticing though. And then we just dithered on the edge of the box. Can we force Leeds back? But long enough to see this clock out though. Yes, we can. And we have toppled the league leaders. Leeds beat us in the playoffs last season. A 4-0 victory, I believe, at Elland Road. 4-0, 4-1, something like that. They beat us earlier in the season as well. But we finally got one over on Daniel Farke and Leeds. And it's an incredibly important one. Not quite as important as a playoff semi-final, but it's pretty close. This will take us to within 3 or 4 points of Leeds, I think, in second position. And depending on how results went around the league, could extend the gap above those playoff teams below us. And it's actually a 5-point deficit now that we have under Leeds. Just a 2-point lead ahead of Burnley, who I believe won their game. But we have an 11-point lead over Sheffield United. So 16 games left to play in the Championship. We are almost guaranteed a playoff place. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't finish in the playoffs at this stage. One team that are currently chasing a playoff place is Swansea, but we'll be looking to throw a spanner in the works as we travel to Swansea.com Stadium for the second game of the episode. Back to the 4-2-3-1 for this one, and a very familiar starting 11, which is becoming Johannes Thorup's favoured starting 11. Jonathan Tompkinson does, however, come into the back line. We looked pretty dangerous from the off in this one, pinning Swansea City back. Our fullbacks in particular had a lot of space. Harry Toffolo using that space to cross to Adam Eder. His header from long range was nowhere close though. But we did make the early pressure tell. Harry Toffolo again delivering into the box. This time he found Borja Sainz, and his header was not only close but found the back of the net. The Swansea goalkeeper absolutely helpless. Really, really good goal. And we were all over Swansea, to be honest. Off the ball runs causing absolute confusion and despair for the Swansea defenders. Johnny Rowe again took advantage, striking from range this time. Parried away by the Swansea goalkeeper on this occasion. Swansea had their moments in the first half, particularly since they were just a goal down. Jamal Lowe finding space in the penalty area this time, but his shot was narrowly wide. I was certain that this was going to be an equaliser. I was almost as certain that Swansea were going to draw level when Lowe found a teammate in the box, but this time Jason Steele was able to parry away. It was a really, really good save, diving away to his left-hand side to keep us 1-0 up. But Swansea would have their equaliser 35 minutes into the game. An incredible turn of pace from Poiheta gave him enough space in the box to bury it in the far corner. We've played so many ex-Norwich players that one was bound to score against us at some point. But we would have the lead again before the halftime whistle blew. Marcelino Nunez finding Adam Eder in the box with a corner. His header was parried away, but only into the path of the waiting Marius Wolf, who emphatically smashed home to re-establish our lead. And then Borja Sainz scored one of his better goals of the season to put the finishing touch to the victory. He drove in off the left-hand side, beat a number of Swansea players, took it almost around the Swansea goalkeeper before firing back across his body. So it looked shaky towards the end of the first half as Swansea drew level and had a really good spell of play. But for 65 minutes or so throughout the game, we did dominate and we definitely deserved that 3-1 victory. I think I saw as well that Burnley drew in their particular fixture. And as predicted, the next fixture in our FA Cup run has appeared on the calendar as well. That'll be Coventry at the very end of the month. We will be simulating that game though. We'll also be simulating games against Portsmouth and starting here with Stoke. Fixtures are coming thick and fast, but we are focusing entirely on energy in our training plan so we can keep continuing to run out this starting 11 that is working really well for us. It's really starting to click, and it clicks again here today despite us being down to 10 men for half an hour. Johnny Rowe opened the scoring 18 minutes into the game. Stoke equalised just before half time. Jose Cordoba got sent off 15 minutes into the second half, but that didn't slow us down at all. Kenny McLean, and then late in the game Christian Fastnacht gave us a 3-1 victory with 10 men. And just as we're in what's probably our best run of form of the entire season so far, we get the news that Josh Sargent has returned to training, so he will be available for selection shortly too. He is unavailable against Portsmouth, however, so instead Johannes Thorup goes with an unchanged 11. But we do only manage a point against the newly promoted side. Lane opened the scoring for Portsmouth in what looks like was a quiet first half. Adam Eder equalised just before the hour mark. 10 minutes from time, Portsmouth took the lead again, but it took just 2 minutes for Marius Wolf to equalise. We couldn't go on to find a winner, however. But fortunately, Sheffield United managed to beat Leeds 4-1. So our slip-up is not going to be punished, and we're actually going to climb a point closer to Leeds. Josh Sargent is a little short of match sharpness, but he is fit enough to return to the starting 11 for our last championship game of the episode against Derby. And it took just 4 minutes for Josh Sargent to find the back of the net again. Tierno Ballo squared the ball to him on a quick breakaway. He took the ball down on his chest, gave the goalkeeper the eyes, went the opposite direction, and it was 1-0. Derby were back in it relatively quickly though. A free kick from an innocuous position just about on the halfway line. Jason Steele came to claim, got caught in no man's land, nowhere near the ball, and Derby won the header and put it in the back of the net to make it 1-1. We played some decent enough football in the first half, created a handful of opportunities. This one for Marcelino Nunez was well saved. Tierno Ballo too came relatively close to scoring, but he couldn't quite wrap his foot enough around the shot from the edge of the box to test the Derby County goalkeeper. And on the stroke of half-time, Derby County would have a second goal. Nathaniel Mendez-Lang being played in behind. Jason Steele beaten at his near post. He was at fault for the first goal, and he didn't exactly cover himself in glory here either. We did press in the second half to try and get back level. Johnny Rowe putting a vicious ball across the 6-yard box, which Josh Sargent managed to get his head to. The header unfortunately flashed just wide of the far post. But ultimately, Derby County were the better side, and we had to rely on Jason Steele, who had a much better second half, to keep us in the game. He made a number of good saves in the second half, going some way to make up for those errors in the first, but Derby County failed to take advantage of their opportunities to put the game away. Dwight Gale this time putting the ball over the bar. So we failed to take advantage of an excellent opportunity to punish Leeds for their slip-ups in recent games and to really establish our hold on that second position in the table. But with our final game of the episode, we do have an opportunity to make the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Of course, we do have to beat Coventry City first, and with so many championship games on the schedule at the moment, it's going to be a heavily rotated 11 that's going to have the responsibility of doing that. So Bobby Parker comes in at right back, Jonathan Tompkinson and Jose Cordoba start at centre back today. Jacob Sorensen comes into the side alongside Christian Fastnacht and Adam Eder. And we get knocked out on penalties. Absolutely brutal result. Kenny McLean opened the scoring just before half-time. Coventry equalised just after. Adam Eder must have thought he'd won it in the 85th minute, but it took just 1 minute for Coventry to equalise. And then it went to penalties. Both teams dispatched their opening 4. Kelly missed for Coventry. Nunez missed for us. Coventry scored their 6th, and Fastnacht missed the all-important penalty to seal our exit. Not been the biggest fan of Christian Fastnacht in the series so far, and that certainly doesn't help his case. It doesn't bode well for him next season. We do, of course, have Johnny Rowe and Borja Sainz who start ahead of him, but we could be looking to bring in another winger and maybe move on from Christian Fastnacht, who really has just failed to make a positive impact on the side. So as the calendar ticks over into March, we do just have the championship to focus on now, and we do still sit in second position, 7 points behind Leeds, 5 points ahead of Middlesbrough. So we have 12 games remaining, 5 of which we will get to in the next episode as we take on Watford and Bristol City at home, and we travel to Hull, to Cardiff, and to Queen's Park Rangers. So all things considered, a pretty positive episode and a very positive season so far. We just need to make sure that we get over the line now. We will look to continue to do that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.